Camera rolling.
I'll call the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting, our regular meeting of April 18th, 2024, held at the City of Bisbee Council Chambers. I'll do a roll call. Mike Ablin.
Present.
David Brown. David Cobb.
Present.
Douglas Dunn, here. Alicia Spiriting.
Present.
Sandy Hoosman is excused, and Doug Taylor. Morris Nelsoric, our council representative.
Here.
Emmanuel
That's me.
Stewart is our staff representative, and we got our building inspector here as well.
Present.
You're not on the list.
in there.
Agenda item 1, public hearing for an amendment to the zoning code. Possible recommendation to the mayor and council. Consideration of proposed amendment to the zoning code, Article 6, general provisions, Section 6.15, solar energy devices, by amending to allow for administrative approval for design review board solar applications. All public notices have been met. Staff comments?
Oh, I guess here I go. We propose to amend the zoning code 6.5 solar energy devices would allow the building official to the ability to administratively approve certain design review board solar installation applications in an effort to better streamline the review process. It also has a design principle to adjust the solar installations that are mounted on the roof the base of the roof to minimize the adverse impacts of those systems. Staff recommends that Planning and Zoning Commission recommend the zoning code amendments to the mayor and council. We just want to make it more streamlined. If they could meet the certain requirements, I think there's 11 of them for the solar devices on the houses. There's a lot of them now. Instead of taking them to the board each and every time, we want to see if they meet 11 of the criteria, we could administratively approve those in office and not send it to the DRB for review.
Okay. I now open this meeting for a public hearing. Is there anyone here who wishes to speak on this agenda item? And I apologize, I did not make a call to the general public, and I'll do that next after this, so I made an error there.
Oh.
If not, then I'll close our public hearing. Commission discussion.
So I just want to make sure I understand, right? So number 9 here says solar voltaic panels mounted to the face of pitched roof, which can be seen from the public right-of-way if panels are mounted flush with the roof and the visible portion of the panel does not project beyond 6 inches. So it's okay if you can see them from the public right-of-way, they just can't pass by 6 inches of the roof line?
Yeah, correct.
Okay.
Correct. And the reason why some of those instances they have to be in the front is because it's facing towards the south for most of your sun. If you put it anywhere else, you're not going to get that sun.
Yep.
Javi, is there a situation where the 6 inches, are you guys aware of anything from an installation element where 6 inches might need to become 8 inches? I mean, and where does that fit into this? I mean, if the specs say it's greater than 6 inches, is it still okay because that's the spec?
I've never seen an installation even be that close. They're usually farther up. They're never projecting past. And I think that's for wind purposes, not being able to catch them.
For the lift?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I've never seen one past the roof.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I guess if a situation did, so it doesn't get lost in the whole minutia, well, it's 7 inches and, you know, somebody raises a red flag, you just say, look, here's the specs as specified, we can still continue to do that administratively.
Yes.
That doesn't become a discussion now with DRV and they want to reinvent the wheel. Okay.
So is there a permit? I guess the big thing with solar panels on roof and historic is, are the roofs worthy of panels? Are they structurally, do they have non-rotten wood.
Yeah.
Is there a inspection process?
Each plan has to have an engineered stamp, making sure they're structurally sound for the installation. And that comes straight from their engineers, and they have to come and verify the roof and everything. Sometimes in instances, they even have to beef it up. So all that's structurally engineered and stamped.
We ready to move on? Motion is, there for us here?
I'll make a motion, consideration of proposed amendment to the zoning code Article 6, general provisions, section 6.15, solar energy devices by amending to allow for administrative approval for design review board solar applications.
A second.
Okay, all in favor? Carried.
Thank you.
I apologize, I'm going to back up now and call to the general public, and that is, does anyone want to speak on a subject other than the two agenda items that are here before us? Okay, pardon me.
You just have spectators here?
Oh, cool.
First time.
Spectators, he said.
Spectators.
Interest in affordable housing.
That's good.
Oh,
That is great. We are too.
Move on now to agenda item 2, which is a public hearing for an amendment to the zoning code and possible recommendation of the mayor and city council. Consideration of proposed amendment to the Bisbee zoning code, Article 6, general provisions, section 6.8, outdoor storage by adding shipping containers as the prohibited permanent outdoor storage, and to reference and include item D. All public notice requirements have been met. Staff comments?
The purpose of this amendment is to avoid unsightly conditions and degradation of community charter or character. These units do not fall under a category where they could be issued building permits because most aren't tied down to the property and don't have proper ingress and egress routes, ventilation, and emergency exits. And I have a couple other little things that I want to pass to you guys.
Thank you.
A little more information of more reasons why we don't want to allow these. Thank you.
Here you go, Ryan.
I have two more. Thank you. But some of the main reasons why I don't want it, entrapment. You know, most of these, it's you could easily get trapped in them. People have died getting stuck in them, locked in them. I think that's a big reason around here. You know, the illegal activities, you know, smuggling, they could be used a lot for that around here. So it's another reason why we want to ban them. Hazardous materials, we don't know what's been in those units prior to them arriving here. Structural integrity, improperly maintained or damaged containers could pose risk to structural failures. Due to structural failures, fire safety, not properly maintained storage containers can pose a fire risk, especially if they're not used to store, especially if they're used to store flammable materials. Aesthetics, storage containers might not blend in with the residential landscape and can be seen as an eyesore. Property values, the presence of storage containers could potentially affect property values in the neighborhood. Zoning laws, residential areas have specific zoning laws which might not permit the use of storage containers. Noise and disruption when they're delivered and removal, storage containers can be noisy and disrupt the neighborhood. And limited ventilation, they're not properly ventilated, the stuff that is in there could get moldy, overheated, etc. These are some of the dangers that underline the importance of prohibiting shipping containers in residential areas. It is crucial to protect residents and their surroundings.
Okay, thank you. I now declare the public hearing open to receive public input. Does anyone wish to speak on this subject? If not, then I'll close the public hearing. Commission discussion. I do have an email from blanket Sandy Guzman, who was not able to attend.
Did you guys get that email from me? Oh, you got it.
Yeah, I'll just read it here. It says, it is my opinion that shipping containers should not be allowed as storage units on residential property. They are large and unattractive units, and I feel they are incompatible with the character of residential neighborhoods. They are shipping containers, not storage buildings. If the majority of the commission feels they should be allowed in a residential area, I would strongly suggest adding a minimum lot size. That's sort of info. Other comments from commissioners?
Just a general question. So if I go buy a storage shed at Home Depot, do I need a permit to put it in my backyard?
Yes.
Okay, so this falls in that same category, but we're trying to say, nope,
Yeah,
sorry,
no.
that is not a viable building, it does not meet codes.
Yeah, correct.
And if someone has one on their property, they can now be asked to remove it. There's no grandfathering or anything.
The ones that are there now, we're gonna let them stay there. We just don't want no new ones in areas.
The ones that are there now, you're gonna do a code inspection to make sure they've been ground set and everything else?
Most definitely.
Yeah.
We want them to be safe. We want the egress in there. We want to make sure they're ventilated. But we won't make them clad it. We won't make them do other roofing things. We just want to make sure they're safe.
So health and safety concerns.
Yes.
Ready for that motion?
Yep.
I move that the Planning and Zoning Commission recommend to Mayor and Council a proposed amendment to the Bisbee Zoning Code Article 6, General Provision, Section 6B, outdoor storage by adding shipping containers as a prohibited permanent outdoor storage.
Second?
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Unanimous. Agenda item 3, discussion regarding the mayor and council approval to move forward in creating additional overlay zones in the Bisbee zoning code, Article 5, special plan zoning. Manuel?
The mayor and council approved the moving forward of the overlay zones as I presented them, as I presented them to you. So I'm going to be working on that and presenting information to you all in the next couple of meetings. So I'm going to be doing that, and that's really all I have to say at this moment.
Okay. Any additional commissioner comments? This is not related to planning and zoning, but my wife is quite passionate about early child literacy, and she arranged for Javier here to come in with his Javi Jr. and the 2 youngest daughters, and did a little video in terms of the importance of reading to your children from birth on, and it's delightful. It's going to be on the library's webpage. Have you seen it?
Not yet.
Okay, well, it's wonderful. It's wonderful. I just now watched it just before I came here. So anyway, it's just absolutely wonderful in terms of testimonial, in terms of, and interesting, his 2 younger daughters were there, and younger of the 3, and they were making testimonials themselves about how important reading was to them in terms of their current scholarship in school. And so it was really a wonderful testimonial. So this is a multifaceted person here. So
Thank you, Doug.
it
It was a blessing for you guys to have us, and for my kids, they're little bookworms, they've been reading since they're little, so they're really happy to do that too.
Well, it's interesting how he immediately grabs this book, you know, I took it off the shelf, he immediately grabs the book, and immediately is engaged in reading, interacting with it, I guess. And of course, one of the reasons that we're giving them away to families such as yours, in terms of who have a newborn up to 3 years of age. And one of the reasons that the library does not carry them is we call them chewables, because the immediate thing the kids want to do is put them in their mouth. And certainly after the child has chewed on it a little while, it's not probably healthy to put it back on the shelf. So anyway, we want to make sure that each child has one. So anyway, I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Any future agenda items?
Not today. I'll let you know.
I'll call for adjournment then. Well, somebody make a movement to adjourn.
I'll make a move to adjourn.
Okay, let's adjourn.
Thank you, board members.
That was a 15-minute meeting.
Unrealistic.